Little Fish Stitches podcast. I am Megan. I am coming to you from Aberdeen, Washington, where I live with my family. I have a husband named Brian and two sons, James and Connor, and a puppy dog named Bella. And, so I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who's been watching. I really appreciate all the comments and kind things you've had to say about my podcast so far. This is episode 5. Oh my goodness, I'm still going. Okay. Yes, and welcome back to anybody who is a continuing viewer. And welcome if this is your first episode. I'm not too far into this, and if you're anything like me, you'll want to go back and watch all the episodes. So, yeah. I guess I should list off places you can find me. One is Ravelry, of course, where I am known as Little Fish Stitches, minus the E in Stitches. So I will put that on the screen right about there, maybe. Ta-da! And then also on Instagram as Little Fish Stitches, all one word. And then on Facebook as Little Fish Stitches. I have a little business page for myself on Facebook. Today's probably going to be a short episode. It's a very busy weekend. I have a cake to go make at some point. I have to run up to Olympia, which is about a 50 minute drive from where I live, and go to the local to their Joann Fabrics and buy some nice bulky yarn, because my son Connor, the younger one, is turning 8 tomorrow, and he wants a blanket like the one I made for my husband and myself last summer, which is made out of bulky yarn. It's ginormous queen size blanket. Took me 10 weeks to make, so he wants one for himself, because every time he comes into my room to snuggle in bed with me, he comes to snuggle with the blanket, really, is what is happening. So he needs his own. So I will be making one not quite as large as a queen size. I might try to get it up to twin size. I'm not sure yet. But so he's going to come with me and help me pick out the colors for that. So, and then I think the whole family's going to go, and we're going to go see a movie, probably Wonder Woman. So that'll be fun. Yes, as you can see, I'm in a new location. Again, upstairs is too hot, and when I did it in the living room, well, family room, whatever you want to call it, that one time, a couple weeks ago, kept getting interrupted by kids and husbands and dogs. So I'm trying out my bedroom. So this is my nightstand right here. This is my dresser right here. This is my giraffe print chair I'm sitting on. So that's what I'm doing. That's where I'm doing the podcast from today, is my bedroom. And I tidied up this corner because if you're anything like me, the master bedroom is probably the messiest room in the house. Okay, so you don't need to see the rest of the room, just this corner is fine. Okay, so if you haven't noticed yet, I have a finished object, and I'm wearing it. It's my summer t-shirt sweater. I still don't know what the official name of this sweater is. It's still in the testing phase, but I have finished mine. I put in a suggestion. There's a Ravelry thread for those of us testing. I put a suggestion to call it the Sun on My Shoulders, because there's this, let's get up here. You can see this nice mesh lace right here on the shoulders. And yes, so since I'm standing up, last week I showed this as a whip. And I left my little marker on until I'll take it off today because I'm going to wear this out and about in Olympia, I think. But this marker is where I was at, and this is a top-down sweater. So I went from here last week on Saturday when I podcasted all the way down, and each of these stripes is 10 rows. So 10 rows plus I don't know how many stitches because I'm not very skinny, as you can see. And so this is how it looks in the back. It's a nice length. I really like the length that goes right down to my hips, a little bit below my hips. That's right where I like my shirts to set, but I actually just followed the pattern right along, and it's not too terribly long. So the last time I tried to create this sweater, it came out looking like a gunny sack or something. I don't know. So we had to, the designer and I had to work together to recreate it basically, and I started from scratch. So basically I've knit this sweater twice, minus the neckline. So this one has a neckline, just a nice quick little rib, pickup rib, and the only thing I have to say I'm not too fond of on this sweater is this purple stripe right here. But that's because of the way the design goes. So it's not too bad though. And then the sleeves were really pretty quick and easy since they're short sleeves. So I am very pleased with this. And now out comes my little stitch marker so I don't look goofy, because I might forget about it later and people are going to be like, why do you have an orange thing on your belly? So there. No more stitch marker. All right. Yes, so that is my finished object, and I'm so excited about it. And the amazing thing was, sorry, I always like my pants way high up. I'm a granny in that way. Yes. The reason I was able to finish this sweater this week, besides the fact that I was almost completely monogamous on it, was normally I have this one job where I'm allowed to knit, and normally I do that job one day per week, every Monday. This week, the lady who doesn't work Monday that does the job the rest of the week was on vacation. So I had 5 days of solid knitting time. I almost got tired of knitting. Can't believe I just said that. I almost got tired of knitting, but I didn't really truly get tired of knitting. Because as soon as this one was done, I literally, within a few minutes, I wove in all my ends and picked up my next sweater, which is my whip that I'm going to show you right now. And that is my Ernest cardigan, which I have shown a couple times on the show before. So, let me see here. Oh, yarn's all tangled around the stitch marker, of course. There we go. All right. Let's see if I can. Oh, of course. I was knitting really late last night. And I stopped 20 or so stitches into a row. Let me see if I can turn this right side out and show you where I'm at. Okay. All right, I'm going to stand up again. All right, so this green stitch marker is where I was 2 weeks ago. The yarn. And then I moved my little sheepy stitch marker down to where I was last week. So I made about the same amount of progress, a couple inches. I am bound and determined to get this thing finished by the end of summer at the very least, because I want to be able to wear it this fall. And yeah, so making good progress. And I don't think I've said before, I'm knitting, I switched my needles this week because I've been using some wooden needles that I didn't really care for. I guess I could sit down now. I got a couple months ago now a set of Chow Goo interchangeables, and I am using a 50-inch cord because That's what easily goes around me with plenty of room to spare to try this on when I need to. And these are size 5 needles. So, yes. I love my Chowgu needles. So, they're my fave. Alright, I'm just going to toss that on the bed. So I don't have to try to put it away right now. And then the other whip I have right now is socks that I showed. It's been a little while since I showed them, but I finally decided to pick them up again and make more progress. And those are living in my Little Fish Stitches lemon zip top bag with a handle. So, in case you weren't aware, I made it. Yes, I did. So here, and of course, I was last knitting these at my son's band concert on Thursday night, and I had to stop in between 2 socks here. So, as you can see, I have little stitch markers off each side of these. That's about where I was at last time I showed these, but I've gotten about 3 stripes done since then. Last week on Saturday, I took these with me to we went to a banquet for my husband's theater group, an awards banquet, and then afterwards we went over to one of his friends' houses and watched a movie and played a card game and had frou-frou beer is what I guess I call it. I think it was a Mike's Hard Lemonade or something like that. But anyway, I sat there knitting and watching this Lego Batman movie of all things. I'm like, an evening out with my kids and I'm watching Lego Batman. Awesome. But anyway, it wasn't my choice. So I made 3 stripes progress, and I think there's about 6 or 7 rows per stripe. So I'm finally making some progress on these. Eventually I will finish them. But these stitch markers that are in here are for where the afterthought heels are going to go in. So, and these, I picked the yarn because I liked it, but when I started making them, I was like, these colors aren't really me colors. But I happened to be at my friend Hillary's house because we were up for a weekend visit, and she liked them. I'm like, well, all right, these will be your socks. So if you watch this, Hillary, I am making progress, and eventually I will finish them. So back to the bag they go, and hopefully not make a humongous tangled mess. All right. So, on to my favorite things. This week, I talked last week on my favorite things segment about, sorry, this stupid cold just doesn't want to go away, and it's like just the congestion in my sinuses at this point. It's very annoying. Anyway, I talked to you about my knitting ring that was my favorite thing, but it was lost. Well, this week, of course, after I've ordered a replacement ring, and they're not cheap, they're not super expensive or anything, but they're not cheap either. It was like $30. I was digging through a bag that I had upstairs with some of my finished objects in it that I had put together to show on my very first episode of my podcast. Oh, and I have to get closer here so you can see this thing. Here's my knitting ring. And of course it won't focus, because why would it do that? Nope, no focusing. Sorry, you guys. But anyway, that's my knitting ring. A little further back, you can see it. It's got 2 loops on it. I usually only use one, but occasionally I do some color work, and it's nice to have that second loop. So, and now I'll have another ring with a 3rd loop. And I can put 2 rings on at one time, I guess, if I have to do like 3 colors. I don't know. Anyway, while I'm still up here, I made myself a stitch marker necklace. So I bought this kind of antique brass looking lobster claw. And these are all stitch markers that I've made for myself. Just some charms that I bought and put together, and I've started wearing this every day, and this is a little progress keeper clipped up there away from the other stitch markers because it doesn't quite fit on the loop. I've just started wearing this, and it's my jewelry now. Ta-da! Yes, and there you go, boob shot. Thanks. Yeah. Anyway, so that's my favorite things this week. As far as pod stalking goes, I was kind of monogamous with which podcast I was going to watch this week, and that was the Yarngasm podcast with Kristen of Woolenvine. And like I said last week, I am watch from the beginning. I can't start somewhere out in the middle or even most current. I have to go back to the very beginning and watch what I can. Well, her podcast, I'm discovering, as she's mentioned a few things on some of the later episodes, sorry, bird flew by, it distracted me, that she began as an audio podcast, which I do not do audio podcasts. I watch podcasts or I listen to audiobooks. That's basically how I am. But anyway, so she doesn't have anything on YouTube until like episode 40 something, I think. So I was like, where are all her first episodes? Well, then, you know, you watch what you can and you realize what's going on. But anyway, I've been really enjoying watching her. Her episodes are usually in the half-hour range, which is nice and quick. So I've been able to actually move through them pretty quickly. I'm up to episode 100. I haven't watched all like 60 or so episodes this week, but I've watched a lot because, you know, that's part of my life. I get to watch podcasts and knit while I work, which is ridiculous. But anyway, yeah. So I guess that's about it for today. As soon as my boys finish their hour of video game time this morning, we're going to all get ready and head out the door to Olympia. It's a beautiful day outside, nice and sunny, and my window's right there. You can kind of, well, you can't see it. There's a mirror there that I can sometimes see a reflection of the window in over there. But anyway, you don't need to know that. Yeah, so it's a beautiful day out. We're going to go to Joann's and probably go see Wonder Woman and go out to lunch somewhere. And I'm probably going to drag the boys to the Black Sheep Yarn Boutique because I want to check in there because today is National or International or Worldwide, whatever, Knit in Public Day. Woohoo! My favorite day. Yeah, so. Oh, and then tomorrow, I have no idea yet. My poor son, he had one specific friend he wanted to ask to join him for his birthday event, because we don't really do birthday parties, big group birthday parties. We say you can invite one friend and we'll go do something really fun. Well, this one friend can't go because they're out of town, so he's changed his mind so many times about what he wants to do that we may have to postpone until next weekend. But next weekend is 2 big events in our family. It's Father's Day and mine and Brian's 17th wedding anniversary. So Saturday is our anniversary and Sunday is Father's Day. So there you go. It might be celebrate Connor, celebrate Brian, celebrate Megan and Brian. I don't know. Poor Jamie, he's left out. Anyway, so I guess, yeah, that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed the show, and maybe next week I'll have a longer one. There might be a couple clips added on to the end of this. And yeah, I guess that's it. So thank you for joining me. Again, you can find me on Ravelry as Little Fish Stitches minus the E, and on Instagram as Little Fish Stitches, and on Facebook as Little Fish Stitches. And try saying that 3 times fast. My lips are tripping over themselves. Yeah. All right. Okay, I hope you have a very wonderful Worldwide Knit in Public Day. Hope you got to do something awesome and join a bunch of your knitty buddies. Happy knitting. I will see you next week. Okay, bye. So guys, it is post-banquet, which you saw pictures of on Instagram. And we came home to let the dog in the house so she could go to bed. And then we're going back out again. This is like the one night a year that we go out and stay out like crazy late. It's I don't know. We're gonna go hang out with some of the theater geeks, and I say that in the most loving way, and probably play some card games, watch some stupid TV shows. I don't know what. They like to do crazy stuff. So anyway, yeah. It is 9:30 p.m. This time I am usually in my PJs, about ready to crawl into bed. I am not a party animal at all. Okay, yeah, this is silly. I don't know why I'm really videotaping myself right now, but hey, I am. Hope you guys enjoy my goofiness. Bye. This ridiculous bird is back again. This time by my front door. I don't get it. Go away, birdie. Good evening. Yes, it's evening. Yes, I am sitting in bed. Yes, I am knitting. It's been a long week. I spent most of my week working. And, oh, sorry, Doctor Who's on in the background. Hopefully it's not too loud. I spent my entire week working at my job that is normally only 1 day a week. And this weekend is my son's 8th birthday. Connor, the little guy who makes his presence known when I'm trying to podcast. So, yeah. He's going to be 8 years old. Oh my gosh. Can't believe my baby is 8. I don't know why I'm recording this while I'm watching Doctor Who, but hey. Whatever. My husband is gone. He went to Seattle with some friends. He went to Portland yesterday evening with some friends. So basically I haven't seen him for the past 2 days. And so, it's him and his 2 buddies from theater, Jason and Steven. They like to go follow around. Okay, you guys should look this up on YouTube. Puddle's Pity Party. And, he also was on America's Got Talent. I don't know, like a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago now, something. Whatever it was. Did I do that right? Yes, I did that right. I don't want to do any backwards cables. I've already done that once on this sweater. I had to rip back, or just a little section, like 1 cable's width, which these are 6 stitch wide cables. And I had to go back like 26 rows and fix a cable that was going the wrong direction. Yikes. That was fun. Not. Yeah. So anyway. I don't know what I'm rambling on about. basically this might be my podcast. I have a busy weekend ahead of me with the birthday and stuff, so we might be going to Olympia tomorrow because my son requested a knitted blanket for his birthday from me. So I have a trip in mind to go pick out some yarn with him at Joann Fabrics up there. I'm not gonna go with very expensive yarn because, well, it's for an 8-year-old. And then yeah, it's Sorry, I am very tired. Working at this job that I normally only do 1 day a week, and I always get a lot of knitting done because it's, you know, I have to be there just so the phones can be answered. And there's not that many phone calls on Mondays usually. It's usually the same the rest of the week. Well, 5 days of being available to answer the phone. Oddly exhausting. I don't know how the lady who normally does that job. But anyway, I'm going to stop rambling now because you're probably tired of watching me knit and listening to Doctor Who in the background. But I'm just cozy here in my bedroom. The boys are out in the living room. They're playing Minecraft together. You know. My husband's off with his buddies. It's a quiet cuddle in bed, kind of. Relaxing Friday night. Just the way I like it. Hi guys. Quick little addendum? I don't know what you want to call it. I want to show some acquisitions that I picked up today. And I recorded my podcast earlier today and mentioned that I was going to Olympia and I was probably going to be stopping at the yarn store. I went to the yarn store. And I got 2 things. One pretty basic item is this Cascade Heritage sock in this kind of raspberry pink color. Just because, you know, I like to add to my stash and it's not terribly expensive. And then this other one, there was kind of a trunk show thing going on at the yarn shop today, and I wanted to check that out. And so I found, and this is a, what is it? 98% superwash merino and 2% lurex. Never heard of lurex, but okay. But it's sparkly. Can you see it very well? I don't know. My silly camera will not focus on things close up. It's like pain in the butt. Sorry. But anyway, it's got like, it's pinks and greens, and it's kind of on a natural base, and the lurex is silver. Oh, it's so pretty. But there's 200 yards in this. But the really awesome thing about this is the person who dyes this is from my hometown. I am so excited. A local dyer to me, like literally in the same city. And her name is Valerie Fox Armes, and her company is called Fiber Play. And she does hand-dyed fibers as well for spinning and stuff, which I do not do. But anyway, this is her little business card here attached to the yarn with the info on the back that's, yeah, Garden Mist is the colorway. So, anyway, I was very excited about that. So I was talking to her because I kind of want to have a local yarny community, and I don't really have that besides a couple family members, my mom and my aunt. And so I asked her, and if she knew of anything that, you know, any like knitting groups or anything local, and she told me that there's a yarn guild of some sort. I can't remember the exact name of it, but it meets in Elma, which is this tiny little like one stoplight town a couple towns away from me that is still in the same county I live in. But and I actually lived in Elma for the first 14 years of my life, so I'm pretty familiar with it. So, and apparently they meet this Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and I'm like, if I don't have to work that day, I am so going. So I'm excited about that. Yay! Okay. Yeah, so sorry about my necklace is probably scraping and making weird noises. Yeah, that's all. I just wanted to show you the yarn that I got, and that I will be hopefully checking out this yarn guild. They only meet once a month, so hopefully I will be able to make it. So, yay! Yay! Woohoo! Alright. I'm gonna go and take a shower and then start in on Connor's birthday blanket.